Hello students, myself Professor Monali Mahajan from Computer Engineering Department, Kekavag Institute of Engineering Education and Research, Nashik, Maharashtra, India. Today we will see one of the topic of digital electronics, that is classification and characteristics of digital ICs. So this is the agenda of today's lecture. First we will see what are the objectives and outcomes of today's lecture. Then we will see introduction, then classification of digital ICs based on two parameters, and then characteristics of digital ICs. Now we will see what are the objectives and outcomes of today's lecture. Objectives of today's lecture is to study the classification of logic families and to understand the characteristics of digital ICs. And outcomes, that is what you will learn after going through this lecture, is you will able to explain characteristics of digital ICs and you will able to list various types of logic families. Now, before directly starting with the classification, we will see the use of IC. Why ICs are needed? ICs, that is integrated circuit, is a basic part of all these processors like microprocessor, microcontroller, etc. And digital ICs are used widely in various applications. Therefore, the classification of ICs and characteristics of ICs are to be studied. So, which are the different devices that are used for making this IC? That is also one of the parameter to classify these ICs. So, there are two types of semiconductor devices, that is bipolar and unipolar. So, based on these two devices, the digital ICs have been made which are commercially available. And various digital functions are fabricated in variety of forms using these two technologies, that is bipolar and unipolar. Now, group of compatible ICs with the same logic levels and supply voltages for performing various logic functions have been fabricated using a specific circuit configuration which is referred to as logic family. So, how the logic families are classified? So, group of compatible ICs that are having the same two types of levels, that is logic levels and the supply voltages, and they are used for performing the various logic functions, and they have fabricated using a specific circuit configuration which is referred to as a logic family. Now, how the digital ICs are being classified? So, they are classified by using the two parameters. First parameter is classification based on the devices used. So, first is bipolar logic family. As it is mentioned, the classification is based on the devices being used. So, the main elements of bipolar ICs are resistors, diodes, and transistors. So, these are the basic elements that are used in bipolar logic families. Basically, there are two types of operations in bipolar integrated circuits. One operation is saturated and another operation is non-saturated. As we can note down here, saturated and non-saturated. So, in saturated logic, the transistors and in the ICs are driven to saturation, whereas in non-saturated logic, the transistors are not driven into the saturation. Therefore, the names are saturated and non-saturated. So, I repeat, in saturated, the transistor in the IC are driven into saturation, whereas in non-saturated, they are not driven into the saturation. Again, this depending upon this saturated and non-saturated, the logic families are further classified. So let us see that classification. So the saturated bipolar logic families are listed over here. That is RTL. First is RTL. So which are the devices that are used in a RTL? That is resistor transistor logic. Therefore the name is resistor transistor logic. The next is direct coupled transistor logic, that is DCTL. Then integrated injection logic, that is I2L. Then diode transistor logic, that is DTL. Then high threshold logic, that is HTL, and transistor logic, that is TTL. So these are the types of the saturated logic families. And the non-saturated bipolar logic families are classified as Schottky TTL and the emitter coupled logic. If we see, the main focus of ours will be on TTL in further unit of the lecture, in the further unit of this syllabus. Now, after studying this classification of saturated and non-saturated, let us see the next classification. Now, the next classification is of unipolar logic families. So, the MOS devices are unipolar devices and only MOSFETs are employed in MOS logic circuits. And the MOS logic families that are PMOS, NMOS and the CMOS. PMOS is P-channel MOSFETs, NMOS is the N-channel MOSFETs and CMOS is complementary MOSFETs. In PMOS family or in PMOS, only P-channel MOSFETs are used and therefore the name is PMOS. Whereas in NMOS, the N-channel MOSFETs are used and in complementary, both, that is P-channel and N-channel MOSFETs are employed and are fabricated on the same silicon chip. So these are the classification of unipolar logic family, where the basic component of unipolar logic family is MOSFET, and depending upon the MOSFET, they are classified into three types: P, N and C. Next family is BiCMOS family. BiCMOS logic circuits are the complementary MOSFET devices used for input and logic operation for the devices. So this is the another or the next classification based on the devices used. So in previous we have seen bipolar, here unipolar and the BiCMOS logic family. Now, in the previous slide, we have seen the classification that is based on the devices being used, whether they are resistor, transistor, MOSFET and so on. Now, we will see the classification of ICs based on their circuit complexity. So, digital ICs are classified according to the complexity of circuit as the relative number of individual basic gates they will require to build the circuit to accomplish the same logic function or the number of components fabricated on the chip. Therefore, these ICs are classified into main four configurations, that is small scale integration, medium scale integration, large scale integration and very large scale integration, and they are denoted as SSI, MSI, LSI and VLSI. So these are the four types of integration or classification that are based on the circuit complexity. Now we will see how the circuit complexity is measured. So here for small scale integration, that is for SSI, how many equivalent individual basic gates are there? That is less than 12. So if individual basic gates included in the circuit are less than 12, then they are classified as the small scale integration ICs. And how many number of components are allowed? That is up to 99. So these are the two parameters which are specific for the small scale integration. Now in medium scale integration, the basic gates can have a range of the 12 to 99. Equivalent individual basic gates can have the range of 12 to 99. And how many number of components? That is 100 to 999. So as compared to the small scale integration, now the range is increased, that is number of components are from 100 to 999. Now in a large scale integration, the equivalent number of individual basic gates are 100 to 999 and number of components are again increased from 1000 to 9999. So this is large scale integration As compared to the medium and small, the large scale integration, the number of components and the equivalent individual basic gates are increased. And the last classification is very large scale integration, that is VLSI, that is equivalent individual basic gates are above 1000 and here number of components are above 10,000. So I would like to note one point here that depending upon the applications, the particular integration will be selected, that is SSI, MSI, LSI or VLSI, and therefore this classification is based on circuit complexity because the parameters are equivalent individual basic gates and the number of components. Now after going through the classification, let us study the characteristics of digital ICs. Why the characteristics of digital ICs are to be studied? Because after studying these characteristics, they are used to compare the performance of various ICs and use their and to know their specification. For example, what is the speed of operation of the IC? Then what is power dissipation? What is operating temperature range depending upon the application, flexibility available and so on. Therefore, which are the different characteristics of digital ICs? So these are the 9 important characteristics of digital ICs, that are speed of operation, power dissipation, figure of merit, fan out, different parameters like current and voltage, noise immunity, range, that is operating temperature range, which are the power supply requirement and flexibility available. So now in the next slides we will see characteristics in detail one by one. So let us start with the first characteristics, that is speed of operation. Now speed of operation is specified in the terms of propagation delay time. The input and output waveforms of the logic gates are shown in this figure, that is one is for input and another is for output, and the delay times are shown. So delay times are between the 50% voltage levels of input and output waveforms. There are two types of delay times. First is TPHL. When the output goes from high state to the low state, that is represented as TPHL, where H stands from high state for high state and L stands for the low state. And another delay time is TPLH, which is corresponding to the output making a transition from low state to the high state. And the propagation delay time of the logic gate is taken as average of these two delay times, that is average of TPHL and average and TPLH. So as we can see here, the TPHL, this value, and TPLH. So this is how the speed of operation is calculated in terms of propagation delay time. The next characteristics are power dissipation, figure of merit and fan out. So let us see the first characteristics, that is power dissipation. This is the amount of power dissipated in an IC and it is determined by current, that is ICC, that it draws from the VCC supply, and it is given as a product of the current and the power, that is VCC into ICC. So ICC is having the average value of ICC 0 and 1, and this power is specified in the unit of milliwatts, and it is also known as the static power dissipation. So the power dissipation is given in terms of the current that it draws from the VCC supply, that is VCC into ICC. The next parameter or the next characteristics is figure of merit. Figure of merit of digital IC is defined as the product of speed and the power. So product of speed and power is given as a figure of merit. The speed, as mentioned, it is specified in terms of propagation delay time and in nanoseconds. Therefore, the formula to calculate the figure of merit is propagation delay time specified in nanoseconds into power that is specified in milliwatts. It is specified in picojoules, that is nanoseconds in the milliwatt equal to picojoules. And low value of speed of product is desirable for the ICs. So low value of speed or speed power product is desirable or ideal. The next characteristics is fan out. What is fan out? It is the number of similar gates which can be driven by the gate. High fan out is advantageous because it reduces the need of additional drivers to drive the more gates. So whenever fan out is high, it is desirable because the number of drivers it will reduce to drive the gates. Now the next characteristics is current and voltage parameters. So the following current and voltage parameters are very useful in the design of digital system. First parameter is high level input voltage, that is denoted by VIH. H indicates high level and I indicates input voltage. This is the minimum input voltage which is recognized by the gate as logic 1. Next is low level input voltage. This is maximum input voltage which is recognized by the gate as logic 0. Next parameter is VOH, that is high level output voltage, minimum voltage available at the output corresponding to logic 1. And low level output voltage, this is maximum voltage available at the output to logic 0, that is low level output voltage. Next parameters are current parameters. The first current parameter is high level input current, that is IIH. This is the minimum current available which must be supplied by driving source corresponding to one level, and low level input current, that is IIL, is the 0 level voltage. Next two parameters are high level output current and low level output current. High level is the maximum current which the gate can sink in one level, whereas low level output current is the maximum current which gate can sink in the 0 level. IOH, that is high level output current, and low level output current. And the last two parameters of current are high level supply current, ICC1. This is the supply current when the output of the gate is at logic 1, and the low level supply current, ICC0, supply current when the output of the gate is at logic 0. So these are the current and the voltage parameters which are used for designing the digital systems. Now the next characteristics of digital IC is the noise immunity. The input and output voltages are defined in the following figure, that is VOH, VIH, VIL and the VOL. These parameters are used for calculating the noise margin or for noise immunity. So stray electric and the magnetic fields may induce unwanted voltage, that is known as the noise, on connecting wires between the logic circuits. So whenever logic circuits are built, the stray electric and the magnetic fields may induce the unwanted voltages, and that is known as the noise. This may cause the voltage at the input to logic circuit to drop to VIH, that is voltage may drop to VIH, or it may rise above the VIL, and that may produce undesired operation. Therefore, the circuit's ability to tolerate the noise signal is referred to as the noise immunity, and a quantitative measure of which is called as the noise margin. So here, one state noise margin is the difference between the VOH and the VIH, and the zero state noise margin is, that is VIL minus VOL. So this is how the noise margin is measured, that is circuit's ability to tolerate this noise signal is noise immunity, and its quantitative measure is the noise margin, that is one state and the zero state. Now the next characteristics are operating temperature, power supply requirement and the flexibility available. So let us see first the operating temperature. The temperature range in which an IC functions properly must be known. So the temperature range must be known in which the IC will function properly. The accepted ranges are two types of ranges. First is 0 to plus 70 degrees Celsius for two types of application, for consumer and industrial. And the second range is minus 55 to plus 125 for military purpose. The next characteristics is power supply requirement. The supply voltage and the amount of power required in an IC are important characteristics required to choose the power supply. Depending upon the specification of the IC, the power supply is chosen. Flexibility available. Various flexibilities are available in different IC logic families, and these must be considered while selecting a logic family for a particular job. So what are the some of the flexibilities that are available? The breadth of the series, that is depending upon the type of logic functions in the series. Next is depending upon the popularity of that series. So here the cost of the manufacturing depends upon the number of ICs manufactured. So when a large number of ICs of one type is manufactured, the cost per function will be very small and it will be easily available because of multiple sources. So as the manufacture of particular IC will increase, its cost will decrease. Then the wired logic capability. The outputs can be connected together to perform additional logic without an extra hardware. So that is wired logic capability. So the outputs can be used or connected together to perform the additional logic without need of any extra hardware. The next is availability of complement outputs. So this eliminates the need for additional inverter. And the type of output, that is passive pull-up, active pull-up, open collector or drain, and the tri-state. So these are the characteristics of. So in this lecture, we have studied the classification of digital ICs based on the devices used and the circuit complexity. And then we have studied various characteristics of the digital ICs. Thank you.